My name's Alyza Enriquez. Growing up as a trans Latina person, I rarely saw the mainstream embracing queer Latinidad, so I often felt like I had to choose between two parts of myself. That's all changing.
A year ago, we would have never been in any of the stages we are right now.
Over the last few years, the trans people of Puerto Rico are completely reshaping the world of reggaeton, and in turn what life looks like as a trans Puerto Rican.
Nosotros asumimos el ocio, la jayaera, la diversión y la felicidad como arma política.
I went to Puerto Rico to understand how we got to this moment and what challenges the trans community there still faces.
Caribbean people, we struggle a lot. Colonization is a motherfucker, but we like to have fun.
This is Transnational. We're in San Juan right now. We're going to this concert. It's completely sold out. And this concert really represents the fact that reggaeton right now is changing in a huge way. There's trans people performing, there's queer people performing, there's so many trans and queer people in the crowd. It's just an incredible, incredible feeling all around.
Bueno, por ahí viene la popstar caribeña, directamente desde Cagua, Puerto Rico.
Qué rico ver un chorro de locas y mariconas por ahí.
Ana Macho goes by La Popstar del Caribe, the Caribbean pop star. But she's much more than a beloved local celebrity. She's symbolic of a seismic shift in reggaeton and Caribbean culture.
I've always been like a performative kid, and I always felt like I want to live the life and be an artist, but being a woman. But I was like, but damn, I'm a boy, como que that'll never happen. When I discovered drag specifically, I was like, I can create a female persona and I can do those things that I wanted to do. I've evolved, my gender identity has evolved with her. And now more people probably know me as Ana than as anyone else.
Reggaeton emerged in the 90s as a fusion of reggae, hip-hop, and electronic music. In its early days, the genre provoked a ton of backlash from conservative Puerto Ricans because of its black and brown roots and its hypersexual lyrics. And it's not just words. The industry is heteronormative and completely dominated by men. But more recently, women and queer people have broken into the mainstream.
I remember when I started making music, it was because I felt like trans people and queer people needed to hear our music. We needed music that was about us because we were going to places and we're always dancing to straight guys singing whatever they're singing about. And I just felt like this is music, it's something for storytelling. So our stories can be told through this medium and it's not being done.
¿Cómo está la respuesta, puñeta? Estoy súper orgullosa de ser parte de una ola de mujeres y personas queer, personas femme, personas que estamos just trayendo algo nuevo que Puerto Rico necesita, la cultura normal.
Ana's following in the footsteps of Villano Antiano, Puerto Rico's newest reggaeton star. Earlier this year, Villano made waves when a video of her freestyling went viral. It now has over 145 million views. Since then, she's gone international and performed on stage with Bad Bunny, who's one of the top 5 most streamed artists in the world right now. It makes her the first trans woman to see true success in reggaeton, and that's huge.
I feel reggaeton is such a male-dominated genre, and seeing women, especially trans women, retaking it and reclaiming it is an amazing thing that's happening right now.
¿Verdad? No todo el tiempo tú ves a alguien tarima que se parece a ti, así que uno se siente bastante identificado cuando está ahí dentro del party y la tarima.
Como que eso me llenó mucho de orgullo y de esperanza de que pueda haber un cambio en la cultura puertorriqueña y el género urbano. Y así quiero ver a todas las demás mujeres trans en Puerto Rico logrando sus sueños y triunfando en la vida.
How do you view your impact specifically on reggaeton?
Just adding to the canon of what reggaeton can be and just redefining what it means to be a person making reggaeton. And we're redefining it by now. It can mean anything. It can be a trans person. The fact that we're on this stage holding this mic, that's history. That's history because it was just unimaginable. But now we're like superstar divas. It's about time trans people get to be divas.
Reggaeton that centers trans people, whether it's about the violence they face or how sexy they are, is absolutely unprecedented. And how the island got here is nothing short of revolutionary.
Calls for Puerto Rico's governor to step down are intensifying today after what appeared to be the largest protest on the island in decades.
In July of 2019, my feed was filled with videos of Puerto Ricans protesting across the island. In leaked text messages, the island's governor, Ricardo Rosselló, mocked women, queer people, and even Hurricane Maria victims. This after revelations of widespread corruption and violence against women, trans, and queer people. Puerto Ricans had had enough. 500,000 people took to the streets of San Juan, chanting Ricky renuncia, or Ricky resign.
Que en Puerto Rico estaban asesinando personas trans y estaban violentando personas LGBT. So fue como, tenemos que hacerlo porque nos están matando. Entonces esta persona acaba de promover un discurso de odio en un país conservador. So yo creo que fue una cuestión de mariconas to the front para dejarle saber al gobierno que estamos aquí.
Mecha was a law student at the time and heavily involved in queer political movements. As part of the island-wide protests, they helped organize a kiss-in front of one of Puerto Rico's oldest churches, as a symbolic FU to conservative forces on the island. The mobilization escalated into a perreo combativo, a phrase that means combative twerking, which has become a powerful form of protest for the trans community here.
So, yo creo que lo que estaba pasando en el perreo combativo era el perreo más sucio que tú vas a ver en tu vida, en las restregaciones más sexuales, como que era cómo yo llevo a esto a su último nivel, cómo yo lo hago lo más incómodo posible para la gente que me está mirando. Y pues eso es lo que estaba pasando ahí. Un montón de parejas perreando del mismo género, de diferentes géneros, todas las diversidades que tú te puedas imaginar, gente en traje de baño, gente sin camisa, gente en panties, como todo eso estaba pasando encima de las escalinatas de la catedral. Y efectivamente, después de unas horas de perreo entre la catedral, la calle Resistencia y otros espacios, como se anunció que Ricky había renunciado. No fueron los molotov, no fueron las piedras, no fueron los botellazos, no fueron los encontronazos con los policías, no, fue el perreo.
So it sounds like that moment was really a turning point for the community. So what was the effect of the perreo combativo afterwards?
Siento que el perreo combativo fue un momento en el que la comunidad trans pudo internalizar el poder que tenía, el poder político que tenía, y empoderarse de eso y moverse hacia otras cosas. Y sí, a mí me ha parecido un montón de grupos trans y que venían creando las condiciones para que en general Puerto Rico fuera un espacio mucho más welcoming para nosotros mismos. Que lo hicimos nosotros para nosotros.
Trans people have channeled this newfound sense of power into creative projects across the island. Things like dancing have become political. El Laboratorio Boricua de Vogue, or La Bori Vogue, is one of those projects. They're a trans and queer-led collective that teaches people how to vogue as a form of reclaiming agency over their bodies. And they're blowing up. They were recently featured in one of Bad Bunny's music videos. A commentary on the island's frequent blackouts, gentrification, and corrupt government.
Calienten quienes no han calentado, la práctica se acaba a las 10.
La Bori Vogue intentionally practices in public spaces to force people to see that trans and queer people do exist.
Pues un poco tiene que ver precisamente con que un poco también hay una noción general de que las personas trans, de que las personas queer pertenecemos al mundo de la noche, a los clubs, a hacer shows de drag, y un poco la Bori Vogue quería pelear contra esa idea y sacarnos de la oscuridad, y llevarnos a espacios donde la gente tuviese que mirarnos. Creo que hay un policing de los cuerpos bien fuerte de parte del gobierno de Puerto Rico y ha sido así siempre. Así que yo creo que nosotros asumimos la jayaera, el ocio, la jayaera, la diversión y la felicidad como arma política.
Dance and music have become political tools out of necessity. The Puerto Rican government is largely failing to address trans issues. It's removed a requirement that doctors study LGBTQ-specific healthcare. It's mostly neglected an epidemic of trans murders, and many say police officers regularly assault trans people, something officials haven't even denied. For trans Puerto Ricans, it can feel like the state is more concerned with rolling back rights than actually protecting them. That sense of abandonment is all the more real in the aftermath of natural disasters, which are common here. After Hurricane Fiona devastated rural parts of the island, trans people had no choice but to fill the gap.
The state of emergency in Puerto Rico. At this hour, Hurricane Fiona is slamming the island with 85-mile-per-hour sustained winds. The entire island losing all electricity. More than 3 million residents face a dark and dangerous night ahead.
Mira a ver si está bien puesto allá, que no se vaya a zafar.
Dania Batoon Warhol is the co-founder of Spicy Nipples, a trans-run network providing aid to trans and queer people. After Hurricane Fiona hit, they knew rural parts of the island would struggle long after San Juan returned to normalcy.
Y entonces eso lo arrastramos hasta allá. Okay. Uy. So we're delivering a mattress to one of the most affected areas in Salinas and to a house where this queer guy, black guy from El Sur called Pepa, and his family lost everything.
Can you tell me a little bit about the difference between being trans in rural parts of Puerto Rico versus being trans in San Juan?
When it comes to hormone therapy, to access to mental health services, to doctors that are sensible to the trans experience of the trans community, it's almost non-existent. And that's the thing we're dealing because most of the activism, most of the resources are directed to the San Juan area, which is the capital of Puerto Rico. And the rest of the island is left unseen at all. Oye, para acá. Hey. Aquí hay escalón. Pepa, ¿dónde vamos a poner madre?
Vacío aquí.
¿Acá? ¿En este cuarto o en aquel?
Creo que sí, mira.
¿No han venido?
¿Quién?
FEMA.
¿FEMA ha venido?
¿Verdad que son unos cabrones?
Vamos.
This is one of the houses we came. It was flooded up to here. You can see the doors, and it was full of dirt, what we call fango, which is agua with bache, with dirt. This was one of the houses, one of the sectors that was most affected because there's a river down there that is just rise above the whole thing, and then it came right through the houses, and it took all of this.
¿Llegó la luz para acá?
Sí, llegó la luz y el agua se está yendo y viniendo. Sí.
¿Y está limpia o está?
No sé.
After Fiona, Spicy Nipples didn't just provide resources for trans and queer people, they made it part of their mission to help anyone in need too.
We didn't want to be a trans organization only talking to trans people, no. We wanted to talk to everybody. We wanted to be able to be part of the culture because we are part of the culture. We are part of the landscape. We have built up this country. We have changed the political system. We have been able to change the way people talk, the way people live.
Yeah, it's really striking, like getting people to see that you're not other, like you're just the same as everybody else. And I think that that's like such a strong tool that like trans violence uses, is like othering people and making it seem like, oh, trans people care about all this crazy stuff over here, has nothing to do with what the rest of us care about. But it seems like specifically on the island too, it's like everyone's facing housing issues. Everyone is devastated by this hurricane. And so how can you come together?
In Puerto Rico, groups like A Spicy Nipples are crucial, but they can only reach so many people. Everyone I spoke to related the current difficulties of life on the island back to being a colony. Without federal voting power or representation in the US government, Puerto Ricans have limited control over their destiny. So music and culture are how they're making change, choosing joy in defiance of all the corruption and inequities.
Buenas noches. So, yo creo que hay una relación directa entre la música que nos gusta escuchar como personas colonizadas, como personas oprimidas, y cómo el Estado quiere controlar nuestros cuerpos y el hecho de que nosotros le pasemos por encima así como quiera lo hagamos.
Mecha specializes in all-American runway, and on this night, they gave it a military twist, portraying the story of Puerto Rican freedom fighters defending the island against colonizers.
Mañana se celebra el supuesto Día de la Raza, ¿verdad?, en Latinoamérica. Y que lo que hubo fue un saqueo a nuestra tierra, un desplazamiento de nuestra gente, una invasión forzosa a un territorio que no les pertenecía, y que a 500 y pico de años de ese momento y ese suceso histórico seguimos aquí pasando las de Caín en la colonia. Así que nada, con mucho disfrute, ¿verdad? Hay muchas cosas que celebrar, nuestras identidades, nuestras diversidades, nuestra existencia en este mundo, pero lo que no hay que celebrar precisamente es la mentira del colonialismo.
¡Mariconas! ¡Aten!
For you, as someone who's transmasculine, what does it mean to have a space like La Borivogue?
Y aquí, voy a llorar. Pues eso, como que para mí la Borivogue ha sido una manera de navegar mi cuerpo, mi disforia y mis inseguridades desde un lugar de amor. Entonces yo creo que ha sido el único espacio donde yo he podido navegar mi masculinidad de una manera saludable y segura, romper con rigidez que tenía en el cuerpo y sentirme más fluida y navegar mi feminidad. Y también en la medida que me sentía más seguro con mi masculinidad a través de los procesos de la Borivogue y otras cosas, más cómodo estaba experimentando con mi feminidad y embracing it.
It's really incredible to be in this space because as a transmasculine person, I don't often get to see other people that look like me being in their fullest form, expressing their femininity. I see a group of people who feel free and like all of the things that are burdening them on this island, not having access to healthcare, you know, having just gone through a hurricane. I see all of that melt away, and I see a community that supports itself, but also feels joy in the face of so much adversity. And I think that's a beautiful glimpse into the future that I want to see in the world.
Traveling across Puerto Rico, it's hard not to feel like that future is closer than we think. Trans people are the culture now. They're shaping what the island sounds like and how its people move, on the dance floor and out in the streets. I met back up with Ana Macho while she was mastering a new track, something she couldn't have imagined without the trans artist who paved the way for her. Watching her in the studio, I wondered who is she paving the way for?
I'm very excited to have you here.
So we make the hits.
We will make the Grammy hits.
The Grammy hits, yeah?
The
I see that in your future.
The Grammy hits. I'm relaxed. We're just waiting for my Grammy in the mail.
That's you.
See? This song is called Club Sexy Cool. We're trying to make more housey Caribbean music. I just want it to be really slick, really sexy, really poppy, really cool. The quality of our music production has gone up. We got access to the machine. So now I'm doing a very important part of the creative process. It's called finding my way. So having access to all of those things just means that what we do gets to spread out farther. And I know we're inspiring a lot of people. I know there's kids that are gonna grow up being trans, being gay, being whatever. And they have Ana Macho, ¿me entiendes? Como que they have Villano Antillano, they have people that live their lives like them authentically.
Toms. Y esto, yo quiero poner esto en un momento.
¡Me encanta! ¡Me encanta! ¡Me encanta! ¡Exactamente! Me encanta, no quiero que se acabe. No quiero que se acabe. Me encanta la canción.
What are your dreams for the future?
I want everyone who wants to transition to be able to transition. I want every trans person to have a job. I want every trans person to get an education if that's what they really want to pursue. I want trans people to live lives. I want them to have boyfriends, girlfriends, day friends, kids, dogs, houses, start their own businesses, whatever they want. Come on, I just want trans people to be successful, to find peace and success.